Today on the show we have Special Effects New Zealand.
I'm Chester Dextar.
And I'm Jake Hurrel.
What are we? We're those wizard guys who make stuff and do cool things. Yeah!
Woo! Yeah. And I'm going behind the camera.
Hi everybody out there in television land.
Chester and myself, we're based in Christchurch. Chester runs Special Effects New Zealand. Why don't you tell them a little bit about that?
Oh, that's where I make lots of special effects in New Zealand.
So we're always heading to the Armageddons and all sorts of conventions around the country, wherever we can get to. Got 3 bases across New Zealand at the moment, Hamilton, Dunedin and Christchurch. So everyone out there should jump on Facebook and have a look at our stuff, and if there's anything we can make for anyone, feel free, have a look. Really well, you've got a pretty sweet workshop in Hamilton, awesome workshop in Christchurch. Yeah, it's
yeah, I've got 2 in Dunedin and now Hamner Springs.
Yeah, 1 in Hamner as well, actually.
Chester, when did you get into this whole special effects artistry? Well, that is a good question. My story starts a long time ago. I've pretty much been into making things and learning and understanding that for my whole entire life. But it wasn't until I was about 14 that I got a book that told me how to do all the special effects of Tom Savini's movies. And it's the greatest thing that ever happened to me, and I read it cover to cover many times over. I've still got it, it's in pieces now. A lot of the pages have stains on them from where I learned to make fake blood and all the other cool things in there. Just using it almost like a recipe book. I learned a lot on the job, just by meeting the right people. So I think the first ones I met were Weta, and then I went on to work in Canada on shows like X-Files and that. And then I've also done things in Australia. Pretty much, yeah, self-taught a lot of the time. Massive fan of horror movies, and especially the very old ones with lots of practical effects. And it's been my life's work to figure out how that stuff was done and then to replicate it.
So how did you guys meet?
We met for the first time when Chester was doing a zombie film, which was called Meat Yard.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it was a zombie film. Check the link below. I sort of stalked him for a little bit, I was really young.
But this was pre-Facebook. He was stalking me.
Yeah, no, it was like pretty much he only had a website, a YouTube channel, and that was it. There was no, the rest of it wasn't really that common back then. And so I got invited to be in the zombie film, and I said, hell yeah, I'll do that. So I went out for a day, got made up as a zombie, and didn't get too much interaction with Chester, unfortunately. Didn't get to bug him about Back of the Y and that sort of thing. Yeah, years later, just in a strange roundabout way, seeing him at an Armageddon in Christchurch is what brought us back together. Here we are now, all these years later. It's actually quite crazy. But yeah, I gave him my number, pretty much said, hey, I'd love to come and learn some stuff, do some work. Pretty much from that, we've ended up working together on a lot of cool projects.
Yeah, now we're buddies.
Chester, can you tell us about your past experiences in special effects?
Obviously, Back of the Y is a big one. And a lot of people know that I went away and did this X-Files thing. But before that, I was actually working with Weta on stuff for the original Hercules series. Yeah, the very first day I ever met Richard Taylor, he had me building rocks that Hercules was smashing up or something. Just fake rocks out of foam and stuff.
How did you meet Richard?
Oh, I phoned him up and I said, hey, I heard you do special effects and I like this stuff too, and can I meet you? Called the place called Weta Workshop and he answered the phone.
Your story of how you got work in Canada was almost, didn't you get his number out of a magazine or something? Wasn't it similar to the Richard Taylor
same sort of thing, yeah. Got to Vancouver not really thinking about it. I bought a magazine, Fangoria, and it had an article in there about the guy who does the effects for X-Files. And he just looked so cool. He had a leather jacket with patches on it and a goatee beard and, and ponytail. It's just like, oh, this guy looked cool. And he had quite a specific last name, quite a unique last name, so I just looked him up in the phone book. And awesome, I found one that lived about 3 blocks away from me, so I called that one and it was him.
Jake, can you tell us about your time on The Hobbit?
Oh man, so the Hobbit thing was cool. That was really out of the blue. So I worked on a TV series called Hope and Wire, which was directed in Christchurch. That was done by Galen Preston. It's a cool series about the earthquakes, this drama series. From there, everyone pretty much working on that shoot, or most of, was going back to work on the Hobbit pickups for films 2 and 3. And I kept getting in everyone's ear about trying to get onto this, because it's like my dream job sort of thing. It was a bit, that's the thing, it was like this amalgamation of everything that was like from sort of mid-90s through to early 2000s. It was this, all this stuff happened in my life which sort of culminated in me doing what I do now. Got in everyone's ear about trying to get on the Hobbit, and pretty much everyone said no, like it's not going to happen, it's a reduced crew already, they're only going to get the best people back, it'll be a fight for the work, whatever. And so I bought a really heap of crap car and drove up to Wellington, and the car stopped working. And I was living in the car, sleeping out of it, and just trying to get work on the Hobbit every day. There's actually, I just remembered there's actually quite a sad story with this. I got fired before I got hired. So, yeah, you're going to love this.
Oh.
Chester, tell us about Bulbous the Dwarf.
Okay, so when I'm walking around in the dwarf costume, everybody thinks, of course, that I'm Gimli because of the helmet. I'm not. I'm actually my own original character called Bulbous. And if you watch the Hobbit films, it turns out that all of the dwarfs had those helmets at some stage. There's a whole room full of them in Erebor. So he's just another dwarf who's got the same sort of helmet.
It's almost like he's just found that and just picked it up at some stage and whacked it on and just wore it for years.
Yes,
and then he's found a bit of chainmail and put
something
that
like
on and killed an animal and worn its hide and that
And
sort of thing.
it was a sort of a chuck together costume. I know it's ridiculous to say that because it looks so good now. At the time, I thought, if I made the big nose, put a beard on, it might be cool. And once I started doing all that, it just all evolved.
So, Life in the Dead Zone.
And it's almost like a mockumentary, and it's gory, and it's dark and grim, and it's freaking hilarious too.
Yeah, it's
like it's just such a funny film.
Team all came together, put this series online for everyone to see, which is directed by a good friend of ours, Peter Tonks, and produced by a couple of other good friends, Gabriel Page and Matt Sharp. I've spoken to Pete, and he said there's 6 episodes plus a 7th, which is just sort of extra randomly scenes. And between each episode, there's also a wee half sort of length video, which I guess is only 3, 4, 5 minutes long.
I want to know more about your music video that you were a part of for Cline Shakein.
Yeah, when Dave Duckworth got us involved in that, he just wanted to see if perhaps I could come up with some kind of devil-looking costume for Jake to wear. And I actually had a spare plaster head, so I sculpted the whole thing straight onto that and cast it in gelatin and glued that straight onto Jake on the night and made it up. And that was really neat. And I was making glove hands for my Cantina Alien cosplay. So I already have these cool looking devilish fingers with these big spiky.
They
so
look really good on camera too.
I whipped out an extra pair of those, and that was the whole thing. Little rubber horns, gelatin prosthetic on the...
And yeah, playing the devil was a dream role. If someone, it sounds weird, but if someone had sort of said to me, "What's your dream sort of role?" and it's like, well, being the devil was totally one of them. Like that's
Dr. Satan.
Just recently, I got to do another dream role, which was the just for a photo shoot, but it was the Joker. And so I got to dress up as this pop art style Joker, which is awesome.
What was it like working with David Duckworth in South Island Media?
South Island Media's done some awesome projects with us, and we're looking forward to doing more.
Yeah, Dave is a perfectionist when it comes to his visuals, so it's really satisfying for us because that's when we get to see some of the best footage really that we can see back of what we've done,
So where to from here for you guys?
Oh my God, we have got some amazingly exciting projects coming up actually. We are looking at filming a Lord of the Rings fan film with a good friend of ours who's written a hilarious script.
These are some silicon elf ears right there.
Jake's been writing a script. We're toying with some ideas, and I'm not going to give too much away, but suffice to say, it will be a culmination of all the best stuff that we can do together, and there will be a gorilla.
What is your online presence?
Okay, so we've got a massive online presence coming together now. I guess the hub at the moment to find and go from is our Facebook page. Special Effects NZ. And all the links will be there. And we've got an Instagram, and we've got, the YouTube and a real website as well, which is specialeffectsnz.com.
You got our website, we've got an online shop where there's all sorts of limited collectibles popping up. Following Life on the Dead Zone via the Special Effects New Zealand Facebook page as well is probably the best way to keep updated with all that.
Starting next month in Christchurch, we've got some classes running through the Rising Home School, and I'll be teaching people basics of special effects makeup and another class on how to do a rubber mask.
Subscribe, comment, like, share!
Annelise MB. I've been doing YouTube videos since January of last year.